Hello, everybody. We are. This is the official relaunch of the Exodus series. I've been working on a edit of things, and that is the aim to enhance and empower the scenes itself. Therefore, the direct result of that is going to be a new slight formatting system in play, and I hope you enjoy. Right, as per standard, watching this thing here is kind of the essential once again to linking into the actual event itself. A lot of the key analysis is in this one here in relation to it. The only difference is that all of these other subsequent elements will be enhanced with different systems in place, and this will be revamped. Okay? Fantastic. We'll be starting the revamp with the edited version of the start of Exodus flight from Shadow War, flash forward to our chapter Year 3 Crisis Era, early Year 3 Crisis Era, escape of Lord Commander, battle of the Port of Dalian, Liao Ming Province, Manchuria. This will be, again, part of this new cycle where I cover only one chapter or one major thing at a time, because the edits are expanding greatly the word length or fixing much of the dynamics at play in the word length. So, without further ado, who wants to start then?
You go right ahead.
Fine. The planned retreat from China is in full enactment, with the final backup plan forced to be acted upon over the period of conflict with the mobile deployment veteran crushing much of recent advances, destroying the momentum in the battle over Inner Mongolia. The rapid deployment of the smaller, more specialized People's Liberation Army divisions led to the collapse of the bulk of the ETO's military capabilities, with the remnants collapsing and splintering into separate cells of fighters. Separation of power dynamics had the remnants closer to Lord Commander combined, fleeing out of the port of Dalian, Manchuria. The division's militias attached to Lord Commander, First Commander, and head of the secret police, Biu are in a convoy of trucks in the orderly formation driving into Dalian. The urgency was made more critical with the actions noticed by the intrusion into the territory of Dalian. Reports of their movement was reported to the Chinese forces, with their movement through the Dalian residential district. Shugang Ward made the alert often more prominent. Sympathizers in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, arranged a way out. The ship will be in Dalian Port. The order was the following.
I understand you're in a pinned down position. I can get you out for a temporary relief. Do as I instruct, and your way out of China can happen. Go to the Dalian Port. Go on the trade vessel under the name of Chongchongan. Under that, you will have a vessel belonging to the DPRK. You'll need to make your way to the ship by your own means. Once you arrived on the Chong Chin Gung, use the sub-ships on the transport area and flee with them. There's a high likelihood that once the PLA knows you're on the ship, your cover will be officially blown. They will most likely communicate with local authorities here in the DPRK, which would most likely lead to the high alert of the Korean People's Army to raid the Chongang. So once on, escape as soon as you can, survive and fight on.
And yes, I did notice spinning error, and I will fix that in there. I managed to get to most spelling errors.
What can you do?
But if there is some remnant stuff in there, I can do what I can. As the Reformation forces get closer to the port, communication with the local Dalian strike force was forced into action, with them sending in with a set of emergency soldiers. Approaching the gate of the port, the militia left the convoy, abandoning them approaching the gate with the local port security trying to stop the advance.
Stop! You're in violation of national laws! Surrender now!
Militia forces in advance to continue to advance, ignoring the guards' proclamations with a raised voice. The guards of the guard continuing to show a facade of fearless resolve.
Stop, or I'll shoot!
The guards' body tenses up, starts reaching out for a gun, preparing to aim it at them to alert the other guard security in response to the ambush attack. The reaction was weak given the circumstances of reality of a armed paramilitary in front of him and the security guard activation behind him. Reactions could lead to a life or death, depending on his very action. Emerging behind the barrels of the AKs, a female fighter walked with complete confidence came towards him, with the female figure giving a hand command with the barrels raised at the guard, monitoring his very action, ignoring the posture, saying, "Get the gun out. You die. Don't even try to move."
Why shouldn't I? It is my national duty to stop you psychopaths.
Don't try it, evil puppet of the demonic regime.
Muttering to himself, the guard saying with hatred towards the group in front of him, "Fudging traitors!"
You actually can swear if you want. Whatever, that's fine. We're batting the security guard, security, BU saying in a sharp and inhumane voice, I can sense your in vain efforts to hide calling us traitors. Like the Communist Party, you are a pathetic person. You are a traitor here. Trust Hilarious' grace will come to earth. Even you will kill us all. Nothing you can do will matter. And no matter how many of your demonic people come and kill, it cannot prevent your total annihilation. A sadistic smile on her face begins to show itself, doubling down on the order as with an outreached arm announced, execute the satanic puppets of representation! With the command of the eye of the Lord Commander, the militia rushes forward, priming their weapons with the security guards confidently struggling, turning around, trying to undercover. A technical dash to his post, running as if he has no tomorrow being stalked by a Reformation militiaman. The Reformation militiamen aiming their rifle, aiming down the scope towards him. Feeling a heavy weight out of nowhere coming over him as he falls to the ground. Looks down, seeing a leg and his shattered knee. Suddenly, feeling a wave of pain. I will insert myself there.
No.
As a bullet pierces the air, with the sense of desperation, the desperation made worse, followed by a following up of new gunshots heard. With a crackle in the air, in quick succession, three bullets accelerated towards him. Blood loss starting to happen. Being in a position of trying to mitigate pain in his last desperation. Picking up his phone to communicate with other guards. Giving an emergency message to other guards on shift before he loses his ability to do anything.
Reformation forces. Here. Shot. With the message came alarm bells ringing, having the place put on high alert, the voice beaming in the background.
Alert! Protocol 8 crisis initiated. All non-combat personnel are needing to go to the allocated location for your own protection. Protocol 8 is the second highest level security measure under the ETO combat measure akin to like martial law, the ETO territorial occupation. Civilians are to put under the authority of military administration, replacing the civil administration. Protocol 129 is a metric.
His voice cracking up, once more pain overpowering him, with the message to others stopped, with the phone dropping to the ground. The militia nearby advances, with a militiaman noticing him still alive and rushing ahead, moving to stand above the crippled guard stuck in pain, unable to fight back. Aiming their rifle to his face, aiming the sight, having the long-barreled primes pulling the trigger. The bullet fell quickly down, having immediate effect, hitting the target, killing the guard in a second. The militiaman moving his head to his side to avoid his face being splattered with blood. With the bullet going off, as other guards on the premises began to be on the lookout, port guards opened the special provisions provided by the crisis relief policy after Cheng Gao's assassination, having the racks of submachine guns released, with the guards arming themselves with submachine guns. The fence of the port to hold off was enacted. The port security commander, upon hearing the advanced warning and looking at the camera recording, alerted the rapid response force immediately, calling the lines of emergency communication with a sense of urgency being picked up by the rapid response forces.
Who is this? What are you?
Breathing in and then out, responding more calmly, saying with a voice of clarity and confidence, "It's a Protocol B8 issue. We have the ETO Reformation forces at the port of Dalian. They already started killing our security forces. Full lockdown."
Do you know the numbers of Reformation forces?
No. Anyone nearby encountering was killed. The ones at the gate were killed before they could get back.
So, the gate guys are dead then?
Interrupted, a new update was given. "They are breaking through. They may have columns of troops coming in. We cannot get to the leadership as they are surrounded by Reformation forces and coming to our location."
Okay, do what you can. Interrupting the commander, the PLA demanded to talk to the guard to ascertain more information. What is the situation? How long can you hold on? Is your position strong?
Not long. They majorly outnumber us, and we can only hold them off for at best 15 minutes. We had no warning.
Okay, we'll be as fast as we can.
With the situation urgent, the guards were not held up. With his permission to go with the direction again focused on the commander. The tense environment was felt on both sides, with silence permeating, with a seriousness dominating the people in each task force. People's stern faces and silent actions had a lethal silence.
We received their vacation already. We are deploying our forces. Do you have any knowledge about the state of their forces?
No, we know that they are armed with suppressed AK-74s, some heavier weapons. We are outgunned and outnumbered. We have no idea what they are after here. There are many ships in the port. We do not know which ship specifically they are after.
Received. We'll be able to counteract the ETO when we arrive. Keep them occupied. The war of them is almost over.
Received. Let's hope we meet each other when you arrive. Over and out.
With the entrance of the port secured, the militia checks the entrance for M1F, having them cleared. With a sudden attack from guards armed with weapons, short bursts of fire came from the flanks. The ETM militiamen, thus covering fire to pin down the guards. Having the ambushes flanked, aiming their rifles in and fire cutting down the guards, were built at chest and head, showing no mercy. ETM militiamen advanced to secure their position, ensuring no more resistance can happen, ensuring that the survival and leadership of the command is not under fire.
Covered by flanking militiamen, 3 figures approached the gate, officially entering. One of the figures in the group stepped forward, having a determined look on her face, ordering the clearance of the area, saying with absolute determination in her tone,
"Clear out the workers, kill them all, and ensure there's no survivors. We can't have anyone fight the PLA. The PLA for a second on their way, and we need to be efficient in our task. Remember, survival is key. Allow no means for enemies to get intelligence by any means."
Behind the leaders' pillars of troops in the Reformation comes through, with the sub-commanders leading them. The militiamen comes in shooting at everyone in the area. A flurry of gunfire and screams follows as the bodies of the civilians fall to the ground around them. Militia forces advance over the dead bodies of workers and security guards in the area, an order that was then given by the first commander to have 40 soldiers entrench themselves within the containers, preparing for an attack from the People's Liberation Army. The sounds of background gunfire and ambience of the port surrounding them, the silence before the storm, preparing to its fury of battle that they have been accustomed to by many prior battles. The seasoned troops of the Reformation standing ready.
Perspective of PLA Rapid Response Forces. The line's cut off, and they concerned shows when we communicate to space. I'll be the officer, you be the communicator. What's the news? Was it an urgent case?
Yes, sir. The port at Dalian is under siege by the Reformation forces. The port security forces prompted urgency.
Okay. We are on our way anyway. Contact local police forces to look after the port is now essential. I'll be police in this moment. Picking up the phone connected to the police. What's the situation? We saw that unauthorized personnel has entered Dalian. Do you know their status?
They already started attacking the port. We need to ensure no civilians get near the port. You hear me? Impose a blockade and only allow PLA forces in.
Urgency level?
High level. Have police armed in case a Reformation force is trying to breach your blockade. Conditions of Protocol 8 policies. You operate under our command.
Response time needed?
Immediate deployment. Limit civilian casualties and keep order.
Receiving the perspective of Dalian police. Receiving the call and receiving the order, local police were deployed in rapid succession. High priority was sent to all active personnel. The cars and personnel started to celebrate leading to the port itself, telling everyone to return the way they came. Chaos was shown as the people's paths to homes and work was cut off. Annoyance at the move, and that the event was not being told was happening. Much happened, made some people a hindrance to the attempts to self-blockade. In the move, a small number of people were detained for a short period to ensure the blockade is established. Remember you the Lord Commander, I'll be first commander, okay? Back to Battle of Dalian Port. With Bulius ensuring that the air is clear. With the two leads that figures were left alone in a small group of commandos. The figure turned to the right. Lord Commander, as per the contingency, you should advance. Go on the ship. I will focus and secure time here.
Preserve explosives for the PLA. Minor puppets do not need to be experimenting with that means. Instead, plan what little explosives we have left into traps, so as to do the most damage to the tyrant's forces.
Beginning to advance, Lieutenant smiling to the first commander, saying with a tone of mild happiness and manipulative empathy.
I understand. Continued the contingency, right? Me and Biu will leave with you staying behind. I guess then this is the termination of our cooperation. Die well and honorably.
The Lord Commander ordered the rest of the soldiers to follow him, turning around, ordering an extra 20 soldiers and 10 commandos to reinforce the first commander's defense.
For your efforts, I will give you extra troops. I know, 70 soldiers isn't the best, but given the area, we need to ensure the general area is protected. Given all three of us had combat experience, we can all do the duties needed.
Turning back to the first commander with a fake demeanor and sympathy and empathy drop, saying instead out of the eardrop of the first commander.
Biu, thank goodness he's dead. I wanted him dead a while now. The diligent fool, who is also brainwashed, has always been our core enemy. Marshall being killed and having someone replace him? A waste of space replacement.
With immediate speed, Biu responded with transfusion. But wasn't he better than Marshall? Isn't this a speculation about the past? My brief experience was him that he was a believer, but he's too much of a fraud in mannerisms and ethics.
Maybe so, but it's too late for that now, isn't it? What comrade Marshall could have done what we will never know, as his life was stolen before he could spread his wings. I still dearly miss him, even after 2 years. Nothing could replace who he was.
B's face was having not changed, showing her cold and merciless expression. Chief, you know, your overprotectiveness of him getting killed. We're equal. I won't take that comment personally. As I know you see value in me, you're just responding to the situation. I get it. Mine and his ruthlessness was opposite of Marshall's character, which you knew him for. But we got things further than we could have accounted for otherwise. You chose to sacrifice him and sparingly shows your true feelings in a renewed situation.
The silence from the Lord Commander confirms the words coming from Biyu's mouth. The silently resigning and moving on, with Biyu once more saying,
I'm truly thankful you chose me instead of him to keep alive. Without you, I'd be dead with the instant surrounded National Railway Scheme. With God's champions like you, saving the most devout followers.
speaking up again, saying, I am not the Lord's champion, but rather someone who stood up to take a stand. We'll have plenty of time to ponder losses and death later. Let's first survive.
In the distance, the eye of the Lord Commander and the Lord Commander vanishes in the layers of containers with the First Commander springing into action, ordering the militiamen under his command to retreat themselves in the surrounding environment, waiting for their deaths as pronounced in their training. The First Commander and of the ETO forces gave his Lord Commander his final smile looking down, then with renewed confidence and cold expression and emerging once more addressing his soldiers.
Soldiers, you are the Lord's vanguard, the Lord's protectors, the ones who fight for the removal of human tyranny. Do not fear death. Fight and die with honor. You are here to defend this position for as long as you can. We are here to ensure the Lord Commander can escape. We may all die, including myself. Fight well and die well. Long live Trisolaris! Down with human tyranny!
Senior non-committed officers of the First Commander's troops ordering a rally of the guard. The militiamen of the entrance of the port, having their banners set up, the Reformation flags waving in the wind. As the troops form up, the rifles of the militiamen blazed in the air, chanting the glory and victory. I'm actually into that in any way that feels nicer. Chanting with passion as if possessed by demons in a frenzy.
Victory or death!
Victory or
Human
death!
tyranny will be
Victory
destroyed!
or death!
Human tyranny will be
destroyed!
The eyes of the militiamen showing no fear as they chanted fanatical lines like soulless puppets, chanting and acting as to welcome death. The First Commander rallies its troops and, with a hand, motions into groups to form in formations of militiamen with 20 militiamen per group. Sorry, 20 militia men per group. Standing to attention. Standing to attention. As the first commander walks past them, commandos flanks the first commander as he prepared his final speech to motivate the militiamen. With chants of the ETO militia.
Down with human tyranny! Long live Solaris!
No fear was shown in the defenders, with their zeal showing inhuman fanaticism.
Remember, no matter what, the puppets of our satanic enemy are damned by the Lord. Kill them with no mercy. Die well and take down more than those who we lose.
With the speech, the morale of the 70 soldiers under his command increased ever more, with the troops furthermore chanting,
Victory! Victory! Victory!
Victory!
Right, let's continue, shall we? A great unifying voice then fell as if it was shaking the earth.
Kill the enemies of liberation of Earth! Revenge the loss of the chosen people!
Deployment of the militiamen in the distance was heard as columns of militiamen chants was heard at a distance. There was no doubt in the conviction of the voices. They would not sacrifice themselves. Speaking to the Lord Commander, speaking to himself, the Lord Commander saying to himself,
And so, the Adventists once more die fighting the human governments. It seems that the history of Mike Evans and his thugs continues under my miscalculation. No, not a miscalculation, but rather the demons that rule China. It seems that China will remain under the tyranny of human self-destruction. I need to get out and try elsewhere, even with Tri-Solaris abandoning me. The chants and cries of dead men, the chants of victory when their only fate will be death, the chants of people who will die a less than ideal life. Oh, what a horrible way to die.
the Lord Commander, retaining a few personal troops, retaining the bulk of the armed forces with him, with soldiers shooting anyone or anything that moves in their direction, the order to advance with the militiamen spread into independent assault positions, shooting anyone they find in sight. As the sound of bullets was heard, the dropping of bodies of dock workers and separated security forces on the ground, the call signs of "Area Clear" shouted, and then returned to the formation leadership. One of the sub-commanders of the forces reported to the Lord Commander. Lord Commander, the area is not clear. The first commander securing the entrance. I suggest we deploy troops in the region to slowly advance. If the first commander dies, as to prevent a collapse of order, my Lord Commander.
Turning to the sub-commanders, the Lord Commander gives a special allowance. Say, I want you to order to your divisions before anything happens that I permit them to kill themselves before that battle officially starts. Those so afraid of death, let them die with what dignity they can have left. As once the People's Liberation Army arrives, there will be no chance of surrender.
Including us in this offer?
Of course! Anyone now who wants to die with a degree of dignity, do so now. Just do it in an isolated spot and leave your main battle weapons behind. Just take your pistol and do it.
I understand. The order we passed on. A moment of silence passed through the group, with one of the figures raising attention.
If that is the case, then I will accept it. I will leave my weapons behind, and after I pass on the order, I will say my official goodbye. It was an honor while it lasted.
Be surprised at the action was shown with indignation and confusion towards him. The order was spread with a small group leaving information, and in the distance, singular shots was heard, with a silence following.
I guess that is it. The remains is dedicated to fight to the death.
Turning to him with annoyance. Why do you do that? Are you a fool? Visible anger showing on Biyu's face. They were out of combatants. We have an army coming after us, and you let our manpower with juice.
Everyone accepts death in their own way, Biyu. You will fight to the death, others won't. It's better for those who want to die with a degree of dignity to do so.
Noticing her face getting more annoyance, he shut her up by compelling her to stay in line by saying,
Calm yourself. We're still fine here. The reality is, many will die. Many will be sacrificed. Many have already died. At the end of it all, let some at least accept death in their own ways. They know how to.
With the preparation of the Reformation forces happening, the deployment of the People's Liberation Army was getting ever closer. With the Poppy and Sight forces were initiated and went en route. A convoy of 20 CBL-08 infantry fighting divisions, 20 CBD-04 infantry fighting vehicles, and 6 PLZ-05 self-propelled howitzers. With the proximity support getting closer, another attempt to communicate to the guards at the port was initiated. Is anyone there? We arrived at the port. The guard communication device was silent for a duration of time. I repeat, is anyone there? What is the status of the ETO?
Crawling up from hiding a guard, a man who managed to avoid being killed responded with a hushed voice. Received. I have bad news. The commander is dead. I do not know the numbers of the EDO, or even our own forces. The sole survivor of the assault in the radio station. Assume others are dead or scattered.
When did it collapse then?
It collapsed within...
Sorry. Let me get there.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. Our door was opened, and a grenade exploded in the center of the room. Luckily, I was behind a hard object, which prevented the majority of the damage. In the smoke of the after effect, anyone who moved was shot down, if not killed, initially. The Reformation fully has control over the port.
Received. Stay where you are. We'll save you. As fast as possible. Continue to play dead for now. Wait for us to see you. Well done, soldier.
The first commander, with a sense of duty, ordered the replacement of explosives and traps to be set up within the dock entrance, militiamen opening the containers of supplies.
Flashback to the destruction of the Dalian Port security command post. The lines of communication between the PLA had cut off, the urgency of the situation ever existing, the minimal guards in relation to the attack having a state of extreme stress in the staff. Radio operators are working overtime to get the ascertaining information as the priority. To command checkpoint 1 is overtaken. A large number of enemies is approaching, being shot at while finishing the line, having line static. The line being cut off immediately afterwards. Body operator, all while the second wave is going off. We are now up and down. A small force of reformation. We are off for long. Wait. Oh shit. Enemy reinforcements! The line goes static after a rapid line of AK fire.
We have only 2 lines open until we have no idea what is going on out there. I hope the PLA is here soon before we get annihilated. Panic overcoming the command center as the lines of control are collapsing. The phones going off almost all.
Sorry. That's the me. Sorry. Yeah, there you go. Continue. It's there.
Yeah. And 2 of the 4 points of control controlled by the Reformation forces, the desperation showing more and more. Outpost taken. Outnumbered. Pacing in anxiety, the commander stressed about the rapid collapse of the command post communications. Report to command. We are under heavy fire. Can't advance. The radio fell silent after bullets damaging the building communications device.
Commander, with all our communication officially cut off, we are fully in the dark.
Crap! Lock down the position and hold ground as much as we can.
The sounds from outside were getting louder, with the footsteps of 6 soldiers from outside the door getting louder. Also, he sounds of footsteps halting in front of the door, happening in silence. And the door being kicked in. The faces of the people kicking the door show themselves to be ETO West Mission commandos, modified MP5s aiming in the building, with one of them throwing in a grenade, and the ETO West Mission commandos hiding behind the walls as the sound of the grenade going off. Screaming of people caught unaware, making permanent as they are still alive, bleeding out. Objects in the interior are spread everywhere, screens broken, windows shattered, unturned tables. After the explosion, what remained of the deformed bodies was shot to bits. If anything was detected in the room, behind on tables, a sole survivor remained, a lesser figure in the operation.
Purge anyone who remains. We don't have time to linger. Shoot and kill and move on. We need to reconnect with the Lord Commander. Those under the Commander entered, looking for any bodies and showing them to ensure no one was playing dead. The sole survivor hiding their presence as much as they could, holding in their breath so as not to be detected. The bullets hit the bodies, with the blood spreading, making the sole survivor feel physically sick. That's enough now. Let's move on. I can see the rest of the groups move on. The squad of Reformation militia left, with the sole survivor pointing his head out to see the state of affairs, seeing in front of them the whole room staff, lifeless and room bloodstained. Sole survivor. Barbarians! Too many dead. Too many to avenge. Now people I knew for years, slaughtered in front of me, just like that. The motherland has to live on.
Perspective of ETO Reformation Commando. The formation of the militiamen in an organized way is present. Shipping of ammo was ordered. Preparation for the final battle of the apocalypse coming. The commander's anxiety is showing with him pacing back and forward. The air felt like death, with many of the militiamen already signing a death pact. Explosives being planted, missiles being deployed, ensuring morale does not evacuate immediately.
Just for clarification, Death Pact is metaphorical. Just saying. Back to the battle. Skirmish tactics were told to be enacted, with groups of soldiers split into groups of 10 and 20 soldiers. The first commander broke up his 60 soldiers into one core group of 20 soldiers under his direct command, and the rest within their own independent commanders in groups of 10 to take advantage of potential weaknesses. With the Lord Commander's group, he split his force in a dynamic of 30 soldiers retained under direct command, two groups of 15 soldiers to act as scouts and information runners. Among the remaining 100 soldiers, 40 were put in reserve to reinforce where they were needed. The remaining 60 soldiers split into three groups of 20 soldiers occupying different regions of the port. As per the doctrine of the Lord Commander, as the ETO militia forces spread out, they executed anyone around, be they innocent or not. Bang, bang. More bodies drop on the ground even after they beg for mercy. The Lord Commander starts to move towards the ship, having his personal escorts securing him.
Approaching the Lord Commander, Scouts of the militia will relay the message. Lord Commander, the PLAs here, they will begin conflict with the First Commander very soon.
I understand. Make the process of evacuation as fast as possible.
Yes, my Lord Commander.
Make the losses not meaningless deaths.
With a salute, the militiaman orders the packing procedures to begin, ordering some of the escorts to assist while packing of the ship begun. The deployment of PLA forces begun with the soldiers deploying outside the armed transport into 10 squads of 14 soldiers. PLA command soldiers. Operation is as it stands. Isolate and kill ETO leadership. Kill, not capture. Take no prisoners. They are not deserving of human laws. They are to be exterminated and equal to Trisolarian invaders.
3 PLA squads begin the attack, approaching the entrance. 2 ZBL-08s break through the entrance, with one of them hitting one of the hidden mines. Boom! The explosion of the craft creating an aftershock which wounded PLA soldiers closest to them. The soldiers inside burning alive if they could not flee from the craft. Taking advantage of the weakness, the Reformation forces, under the command of the first commander, opened fire on the opening to the entrance, covering fire from nearby PLA soldiers, allowing the surviving forces to flee to safety. The long rifles of the AKs shooting a frequent fire rate like a symphony of bullets, with some of the bullets hitting fleeing PLA soldiers. The mirage of bullets getting louder and louder, with both sides not letting go.
Keep out of fire. Keep locked down.
Groups of 3 PLA soldiers advancing and shooting, ensuring that the Reformation forces do not kill or wound any more soldiers.
Repeat. We have Reformation forces locked down in place. Get the survivors out.
As the final few survivors fled, the armored military vehicles had micro-explosions, making a spread of metal and other materials spread around them. The first squad of 10 skirmish forces, under the command of the first commander, firing at the initial assault with the PLA soldiers falling back, and one squad hiding behind the remaining ZBL-08. The gunfire exchanges had 8 PLA soldiers shot down, unable to respond to the ambush. The remaining members of the first squad returned fire, killing half of the ETO's ambushes. Report, 6 casualties, 1 vehicle down. with the operation command responding with how many combatants? How well are they prepared? 10 abusers, 5 killing and firing back, over. Advancing the assault, setup of artillery was beginning, with support drones being released to give battlefield data.
Quick, that's 10 attackers.
The drones flying and 2 squads moving in during clearance operations. The nature of dock combat gave the EDO an advantage. Opening a container, a trigger enabled an explosion, killing 4 PLA soldiers. The second ETO skirmish force ambushes the soldiers, shooting them in the back, surviving. Command, Squad 2 is wiped out. They have rigged the containers with bombs. Another ambush force. Retreat for now. With the revelation that containers have been rigged, artillery strikes were ordered to target containers, with infantry retreating for now. Some of the frontal defenders of the rebellion, with the impact of the shock and awe of its combat, attempting surrender.
We surrender. Please. Let's have a second chance. Please.
No surrender is accepted. You accepted your fate by your dedication to invaders. The rifle of the PLA Rapid Response Soldier opened fire on the group, killing them all in seconds. The artillery guns aimed towards destruction of containers, with the gun's force knocking them back and releasing a pressure, creating an explosion, destroying the container, having an explosion, killing ETO combatants. The first commander orders a retreat, with artillery fire bombarding the containers. The deployment of 8 ZBL-08s and 10 ZBD-4s with 3 squads behind them making a general advance, the ETO within the first commander's detachment being cut off, resulting in being fired upon with no cover. 5 of them decided to commit suicide, turning the grenade on themselves, charging the formation. As the gunfire continues, with the battle being chaotic, the first commander, unable to run, gets shot in the head attempting a fighting retreat. The armor of the vehicles limiting the impact of the ETO's attacks.
Report. The first commander is dead. Repeat. The first commander is dead. The entrance is now liberated.
The packing of the ship is mostly done with news that the front defenses have collapsed, and with the first commander not retreating, it was assumed that the first commander was dead. How long till everything is ready?
15 minutes, my Lord Commander. Make sure the rest of the combatants are ready for a grand counter-offensive. Opening the radio channel to all active personnel. Under the authority of the Eye of Lord Commander, no one is accepted to surrender or attempt treason. The PLS can be anyone who attempts to flee or surrender. To get safety, fight your way out. Fight hard, push the enemy, repel the invaders and tools of the satanic regime.
The remaining PLA forces move into the entrance during clearance operations, with multiple mines which had a delayed reaction going off, resulting in the destruction of multiple vehicles. Attention from the city itself has now been noticed, with concerns being raised by people living near the port. To counteract the nature of the battle being shown, and to keep order of the battle, local police imposed a blockade on the entry to and from, banning anyone from entering or exiting. Back at the battle, the bombardment of the port continued, with more explosions being more pronounced. Within the ETO ranks, 2 groups of 20 ETO militia deployed in a defensive position, with the sub-commanders ordering, protect the Lord Commander, ensure that the escape can be safe. As their rifles were primed for the incoming assault, the soldiers accepted the deaths. The ETO militia forces tempered their nerves, focusing their mindset. The PLA forces cleaning the entrance, noticing the dead bodies of civilians and security, which made the urgency of killing the leadership more important. 2 years of armed conflict in some way or form had a desire for their genocide to happen once and for all. Accounting for losses within the field report back to the PLA command.
Report. There are civilian casualties. We have noticed so far at least 30 workers have been executed and 6 guards have been killed. We have noticed 26 casualties and soldiers, bare minimum to our records, have been killed, with the first in commander killed also. We do not know the true number of the enemy combatants. Over.
Received. Continue operations. The PLA formed a direct attack aiming directly towards the location of the Lord Commander. A defensive formation of soldiers using armored vehicles as a shield to decapitate the head of the group. With the main command on the battlefield ordering the attack, the formation, which involved all remaining forces, started to push down with artillery, continuing to target containers in and around them. The ETO militia scouting reports back to the Lord Commander with a sense of urgency.
Spearhead the attack. Wipe out the cultists by disbanding the leaders. Take no prisoners.
Lord Commander, the attack is commencing in a spearhead attack. The frontier divisions will withdraw and secure defensive positions. Deploy the reserve troops.
The spearhead formation having ETO militias move and harass the flanks, with PLA soldiers using the armor of the vehicles to keep them alive, with some with an ETO militia deciding to do suicide before they can just do suicide attacks when they break cold formation, with focused fire of the PLA shooting down them before they can detonate their grenades. On the right flank, they failed to do so, with 3 ETA militiamen having then gunfire. ETA mission suicide attack, attacking the outer armored vehicles, destroying 1 vehicle, exposing soldiers within. Having gunfire from ETO shooting at anyone they can within the whole of formation. The gunfire killed 15 PLA soldiers, with a rogue grenade killing another 4.
7 minutes left, Lord Commander. Good. Deploy the garrison and reinforce the suppressive fire. The 40 ETO militia deployed, filling in the ranks where casualties were taken. The PLA advance was getting close, with the frontal defenses of the ETO starting to take casualties. As the fighting continues, the casualties on both sides start to rack up, with a further notice to the Lord Commander. Start to evacuate now! The final phase is being done! The Lord Commander saying to the radio, all forces, go to the ship. The time to leave is now. Keep suppressive fire as you retreat. Do a final measure which stalls them.
ETA militias closest to the front in the formation doing a suicide attack, aiming to destroy the frontal vehicles, with 15 soldiers setting off a close range grenade, destroying the front 4 vehicles, inflicting casualties behind them. Suppressive fire killing a handful of PLA soldiers, the PLA ordering a final charge to exterminate the Lord Commander before he gets on the ship. Artillery fire had to stop, as it could not risk destroying a DPRK vessel. The Lord Commander gets on the ship with Bu and other course-varying leadership. The ETO militia who managed to get on, seeing that Lord Commander got on the vessel, PLA halted advance, reporting back to operational command.
The Lord Commander has gotten on the vessel. We suffered extreme resistance, taking heavy casualties. Repeat, we have taken heavy casualties. Contact the authorities in the DPRK to force them to act. Warn them of the ETO fleeing on one of the vessels. If it is advisable to put the Navy on high alert, so as to monitor the movement.